Welcome to the Far From Average podcast, where we speak about topics and interview people who are far from average so you can take your business and your life to the next level. I have two extremely special guests. This is our second episode in a row doing two people together, because not only are we getting one perspective, but this is a power couple. We're dealing with a high-level power couple involved in network marketing, many other businesses, and I cannot wait to get into the information that they have today. I have Connie and Lennon Ledbetter. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you for having us. This is exciting.
Yes, it absolutely is. And I really want to get right into it.
Okay, sure.
You guys, obviously, you don't see a lot of couples like you guys on a day-to-day basis.
Right.
I want to know about how you guys met and became this power couple that you are today.
Okay, should I take it away? I'll start it. Okay, so in 2014, I was actually going to this woman empowerment event where the lady was actually bashing men. Just to sum up the story really quickly, I tried to sneak out because I was supposed to go to dinner after with her and a keynote speaker. Well, she didn't do her due diligence for her keynote speaker, so therefore, she was bashing, and I was trying to support my friend, but I said, I got to get out of here because I grew up with powerful men. So that I didn't resonate with that language. So I ran out, I snuck out, I said, okay, I'm not going to even use the restroom. I don't want her to see me. So I'm going to my car, and it was at the Torrance Holiday Inn in California. And I'm running to my car so I won't get caught. And I see this gentleman like walking in the parking lot towards me. Him, of course. And I looked and I'm like, is he coming this way? Because he could go straight in to actually go check in or do whatever he's doing. And so he came to my aisle, and right when I was about to hit my door, I was at the trunk of my car. He was at the hood, and he was like, hi. I'm like, hi. 11:30 at night. And I swear it was like a movie because no one else was in the parking lot.
No one else is in the parking lot.
So I proceeded to say hello, and he can feel that I was uncomfortable. And so he was like, oh, well, I want to give you my number. I saw you, so maybe we can go inside where it's a little warmer and brighter so I can give you my number. I said, okay. And this is the reason why we're here today, because he turned around and went around the car. He didn't make me turn around and him follow me. He had me to follow him. And he looked back and was like, are you coming? And my guard went down. And then we went inside the hotel, talked for 3 hours, and the rest is history.
Wow. That is a crazy story. Lennon, because guys, especially nowadays, it's becoming a lot more difficult to find somebody that you really connect with. What were you looking for how were you going about looking when you were looking for a woman like Connie?
I think it's always about everything is the team in the dream. So we talk about our team for business. We're building a team so people can live their dream, because wars have been fought for freedom of choice. And you get to choose your dream. Well, if you're all about a team, well, what's your number one teammate? Would be your running buddy, your wife,
right?
Your pillow talker, your greatest asset.
Right.
And when I saw her walking from a distance, because I was just, luckily I picked that hotel to stay that night.
Yeah.
And when I saw her, she was walking with a posture. She was walking, she reminded me of my mom. She was smiling, she was bubbly, and she was just being her, like walking. And I said, I'm going to say hello. And I'm grateful that I had some courage where maybe others would have feared. Mm-hmm. That seems to stop everybody, is fear. And I thought, if I don't say hi, I'll just never see her again. I'm gonna say hi. Because then I said, she can either say hi back, or just like anything, right?
Right.
She can say hi back or keep on walking.
Right.
But I guess where I got lucky was because in LA, at night, in a parking lot, I was thinking about her. And I said, let's go in where it's light and you feel safe.
Right.
Because I wanted her to feel safe. But your question was more, what was I looking for?
Yeah.
I was looking for somebody that was a dreamer. like that had vision, that wanted to make something happen with their life. We have a choice to be either a maker of history or just a reviewer of history. Most people choose to be just a reviewer. They just wake up and then all of a sudden their life passes and they didn't make an impact. So when I started talking to her, I was just asking questions about her. It did impress me big time when I asked, after we talked for a bit, I said, I'd like to see you tomorrow. Now, the next day was Father's Day, and I was already scheduled. See, I was scheduled on the flight to fly home. And my daughters had already been putting a big meal together and doing a big fancy day for their father, right? And so when I said, would you like to see each other tomorrow? And she said, well, it's Father's Day, and my dad is my hero. And I always respect my dad. He's my hero. Now, see, if she'd have said, oh, yeah, it's just my dad, you know, kind of like, no, that was extremely impressive. You see, because if a girl can, if she's from a home where the dad is a good leader and a good man and a good father, then my odds of having a good wife are 100,000 times better. And if they say, I don't even know my dad. So leader, that was big time that she said, I don't know that I can go out with you tomorrow because my dad is my hero. And she says, but sometimes he's in a real talkative mood and I'm going to hang out with him all day. And sometimes we have a meal and we talk a little and then it's kind of like, go home. And she says, if that's the case, I'll call you. So I immediately said, okay, great. So I got a little chance, see? So I'm excited. I got a chance. So I called my daughters and I said, how about I don't come home tomorrow? I said, I got something that's kind of special, I think. And they immediately started to, got all three daughters on the same call because it was their day. And they started to, I don't want to say whine, but they started to say, oh, Dad, we've all worked so hard. It's your special day. Because they were thinking I might just be not coming home to do another business meeting or something, putting the business first.
Right.
And I said, well, I'm not staying for the business. I said, I met somebody. And immediately they changed and said, what? You met a girl? Like, because they knew I'd been the dad or work in my business, you see? So I was just all there. And they said, what? You met somebody? Like, that you would actually stay for? Like, they said, oh, and then my littlest daughter says, now, Dad, remember, we're going to all have our phones ready. You need to be texting us throughout the day. We know we're girls. We know how girls think, so we'll tell you what to say. We'll coach you. And they were, like, so excited, you know? They were like, oh, my gosh, Dad's maybe met somebody. And they were so excited. And so I was like a little teenage kid the next day, you know, because I didn't know if she was going to call. I'd already changed the flight to the next day. So I was prepared.
Just in
but
case.
I kept looking at my phone, you know, like a little kid in high school, like make sure that it didn't die, you know, even though it's fully charged. Looking at it, you know, make sure the ringer's on, even though it's on for sure, you know. And so then in the afternoon, about the evening really, she calls and says, hey, I'm free if you want to get together.
Yeah.
And so we went out and actually our first date was in Huntington Beach and we walked the beach and then we went into the little town there and went in the restaurant, sat down, and the owner of the restaurant came over and said, wow, you guys are a happy couple. How long have you been married? And
we hadn't known each other for 24 hours.
Right.
Because remember, it was 11:30 at night. I talked to him for 3 hours. I left him at 2:36. I met him in Huntington Beach at 6 o'clock. It hadn't been 24 hours yet. Dang. And not only did the owner ask us that, another person, they treated us to dessert because they thought we were just such a dynamic couple. They're like, oh my God, we hope our marriage is like that when we get married. We were like, us too.
Oh my goodness. Now, at what point after you guys got together, did you decide to go into business together immediately, or was it a little while after?
Okay, so I'm going to take this one because he did not try to have me in the business with him. It wasn't like he tried to recruit me. We literally were dating, and it was 10 months later He was a keynote speaker at the Bellagio up here in Vegas. And he said, oh, by the way, I have to speak at the Bellagio. They're going to put me in a suite for a week. I'm speaking at and this is what he said, some little thing. So we'll just go hang out for a week. And I said, okay. So I flew down from California. He flew up from Utah. And we were there all week having fun. Unbeknownst to me, a friend of mine was here the same week. We're hanging out. I forgot all about why we were there because we got there Sunday and he had to speak on Thursday. So Thursday, we finally arrived to the ballrooms, if you will. And I want to say not ballroom, I said ballrooms, because there was 15,000 people waiting to hear this man that I've been dating for 10 months to speak. I didn't know exactly what he did, but I overheard conversations, and it sounded to me that he inspired people like I do. Our friends call and we inspire them. We encourage them, because I'm all about mindset. So I'm like, oh, we're such a perfect match because we both are inspiring our friends who call us and encouraging that they can do it. But he had a different thing. So long story short, we were there and we hit the corner. We're dressed and we're ready for the event. And it was like a herd of people just rushed him as soon as we made a left. And people start pulling out their cameras and taking pictures. He received 2 dozen long stem red roses. I said, is this Mr. America? I'm confused as to who this man is. Do you remember Color Purple, and it's coming out in December, when she said, Hoppa, who this woman? I'm like, who this man? I don't understand who I've been with for the last 10 months. So I'm sitting there, and for the first 12 minutes of his 30-minute talk, because I'm watching the clock, he had a standing ovation. They wouldn't be quiet.
For 12 minutes?
12 minutes. And to be exact, 23 seconds. And I sat there, and I'm looking around the room at these 15,000 people. I looked back at the 11 different interpreters waiting to interpret what this guy that I've been hanging out with, eating and traveling the world, has to say. You can only imagine what was running through my head.
Right.
So I'm sitting there, and at the end, they're still excited about him. So he's like, well, we have to sneak away because if anybody see us walk out, we'll never leave later on that night. So we went through the back, went downtown to the gelato place in Chinatown, and he has this big assortment of gelato. And when Lennon gets serious about food, he puts his glasses on top of his head, and he's going in for the kill.
Nice.
So I said, before you begin, because he put the glasses up and he had the spoon, it was almost like he licked his lips and he was ready. I said, before you start, what happened today? And he said, oh, it was an event? I'm like, no, I understand it was an event. I understand people was excited. But what happened today? What is it that you do? And he said, I give people hope. Now, for me, hope, the acronym is having only positive expectations. So when he said that immediately popped in my head. How do you give people positive expectations, right? And so he proceeded to tell me. Now, the reason being why I said, well, this is something I need to do is because in 2007, over a Scrabble game, my mother told me that I was going to be the one to change the trajectory of our family's financial future. Now, I modeled for 20 years. How am I going to do that? So when I stop modeling, are they going to work for me to be what? My assistant? That's still a job. How am I going to change the family's financial future? So we're sitting there in a gelato place, and as he said to me what it was that he did, and right at the end, my mother has passed on, clear as day, her voice said, here it is. So I took it upon myself to get him out of retirement and start doing this business again because I have an assignment, a divine assignment that was given to my mother, and I had to see it through.
Absolutely. Yeah. How did you become so massive in the network marketing space to where you can't even speak at your own keynote?
You know, it is kind of funny. I was just a little kid trying to make the high school football team, and then all of a sudden it was like, I did start, I barely had a driver's license, but I was like in a little steel mill town, and I saw how people Grandpa worked at the steel mill, Pa worked at the steel mill, I'm going to graduate high school, work at the steel mill. Mm-hmm. I don't understand exactly why one kid's born black and one kid's born white, and one kid's born in Chicago, another kid's born in Dallas, Texas, or why one kid gets to wake up and realize, hey, my dad's Barack Obama, or my dad's Donald Trump, or my dad's Bill Gates, or Steve Jobs, and then another kid gets to wake up and either not know their dad or, some different relationship. But I just realized my dad was Curtis. Great. I don't know why my grandfather, not generations back, just my mom's dad, my dad's dad. So my dad's dad got to the first grade before he dropped out of school. And my mom's dad got to the third grade before he dropped out of school. So some people say I dropped out of high school. They dropped out of elementary. So that was my two grandfathers. And then I looked at, my dad, he didn't have any sisters. He had one brother, Uncle Willie. Man, I love him, man. He could throw a baseball, make your hands sting. I love the guy. But he dropped out of high school and joined the Navy. And we got out of the Navy. He became a plumber. And I don't think there's anything wrong with being a plumber. I need a plumber from time to time. I just didn't want the lifestyle. So I don't understand always the generational teachings that have come into the family. That's who we're taught by. But I could break the chain. And I was in high school and I went to an event and I saw these guys that were totally free, like rich, like I didn't know anybody like that. And then I realized it cost nothing to open my mouth. Mm-hmm. I was talking to a man and he said, can you say yes to your dream? I go, yeah, that's why I'm here, yeah. He said, well, then can you say yes to this team? I go, yeah. He said, because you can't finish a race you don't start. You just got to start. And then he said, are you a quitter? Here I am a kid, remember? I'm still in high school. And I said, I thought to myself, no, am I a quitter? No. I didn't quit 2-a-day football practices. They were hard. I said, I didn't quit Boy Scouts. I started out and got my Eagle. I didn't quit. So I looked him straight in the eye and said, no, sir, I'm not a quitter. He goes, good. Because if you start and don't quit, everything in between we can teach you. And I thought it costs nothing to open my mouth. So when I saw this idea of freedom, that it's not just who I know, but who they know and who they know and who they know. I also thought if God's a God of abundance and all things are possible, then why can't I have an income in 40 different languages or from 40 different countries or more?
Right.
And if I'm answering your question, I got excited, and I thought, but I also remember one time I was in a meeting, and a small one, and the guy speaking said, he gave us out these little 3x5 cards, and he says, I want you to write down your ideal income. Write down your ideal income. If you could make any amount, your dream income. I was scared. Remember, I'm still in high school, like a junior in high school, and I go, man, I'm embarrassed. If I wrote a big number, I was afraid he was going to call us up or read the card and everybody would laugh at me because I dreamed so big. But I said, oh, well, I'm going for it. And I wrote $10,000. $10,000 a month.
A year? Oh, a month.
But I went $10,000 a month because I didn't know anybody. I thought that was just amazing. Yeah. Amazing. Like if I could have $10,000 a month, man, I'd be rich. That was as big as I could dream. Well, I just started saying hello to people and just being a good bringer. At the beginning, I think I was trying to be the know-all, do-all, say-all. I actually thought I was just being a leader. Like I was trying to help them. Like also I was just trying to show my guys that I was a doer, But what I started realizing was that the reason my friends were listening to me is because they were my friends. Like, we talked about football, we talked about church, we talked about whatever, so my friends were listening to me because it was me. But I started thinking that they could not maybe believe that I had the answers to their financial problems because it was me. Because
Right.
I'm still living at home with my mom and dad. I'm driving a $100 Volkswagen. Because when I traded it in, they gave me $125. I'd stopped at a yard sale and put a couple of chrome wheels on the back. Didn't have enough money for 4 chrome wheels. I had 2 chrome wheels. That's why I had kind of a halfway cool car and caught a halfway good-looking girl. But anyway, that's not even true. But the fact is I went in and they offered me $125 for my car. And I said, well, can't you see the chrome wheels? They say, we see them. That's why we're giving you $125. So, I mean, I'm just saying where we start. We all start where we start. But as I started seeing it, I said, but they can, this is huge, they can believe that I've met somebody who has the answers. Mm-hmm. So I started using a word, bringer. I'm just going to be a good bringer. I could use the word edifier, but I mean create value. Edification just means create value. I just got to get this guy to meet this guy. I got to be a bringer. If they're where they are, I'm going to bring people. See, instead of me trying to be the know-all, do-all, say-all, I'm going to connect with somebody who has the credibility, has the fruit on the tree, and I'm going to tie people in. And I started being a bringer. And all of a sudden, I would let the team, I always believe, the team can do more for me than I can do for myself. The team can do more for you. The team. But I learned that in sports. There was one guy, somebody's maybe a better thrower, somebody a passer, somebody else a better catcher, somebody else big, they're a better lineman. Put them in different positions, and you don't win the championship. Put them in the right positions, we win the championship.
Right.
So it's the same in business. So I started understanding the team. Everything was the team. Even in my life today, everything's the team. Everything is the team. And so I started just realizing that when I was trying to be the know-all, do-all, say-all, they weren't hearing, but they could believe that I'd met somebody. So I started learning how to edify. And I just said, I'm going to be the best bringer that ever lived. Plus, I realized that the people that, you know what's crazy? I honestly can't even believe I'm going to say this, and I'm embarrassed. But for a brief moment, I thought those rich guys were lucky that I was joining them. In other words, like, well, you know, I don't even have $3 in my pocket, but, you know, they're lucky that I'm joining.
Because you're the bringer.
Right.
And I said, and I humbled myself, immediately realized that whether I built it big or not, they still would live the same life. See,
Right.
They were already free. But whether they chose to help me or not, so I realized I'm not their ticket to freedom. They're my ticket to freedom. So everywhere they turned, I said, they're going to see my face. I mean, they're going to know that if they turn around, they're seeing me. I chose to plug into every meeting. I would never miss. Why? I need it because they only had 30 days in a month. And so, and if I don't get on their schedule, I'm going to stay in my $100 Volkswagen. I'm going to stay where I'm at. Mm-hmm. And I wanted out. I wanted to break the chains. I was going to start from me on down. It was going to be prosperity consciousness, no more poverty consciousness. Well, it's the way we are because that's the way it is.
Yeah.
Can't do better than you're raising.
Well, what would you say are 3 things that separate the people like you that are successful in network marketing versus the people that drop out 2-3 months into the business?
I think I plug in. See, my guys, I wasn't that great as a young kid. 20, 19, 18, 22, you know, getting started, you know. But they knew I was trying, see? I was a doer. I attacked my dream. See, you define your dream, and then that's my key to success today. I attack my dream. And so I just go. And I think that it's always funny that we think if somebody wants to get better at the piano, you better practice a little bit.
Yeah.
If you want to get better at football, better practice a little bit. Plus, I want to be a great wide receiver, so I'm going to go talk to my mom and have her teach me. Nobody loved me more than my mom. But what could she teach me? She didn't ever play football. Does that make sense? We sometimes go get financial counsel from somebody that doesn't have their house paid for.
Right.
And they're 52. And you go, well, be careful where you get your advice. So I think when you say, what did I do as a success? I plugged in. I wanted to make sure that these guys that were free, because I had to learn the language of success. I wanted to think like them, act like them, talk like them, walk like them. I wanted to just learn. So if they even went to the restroom, man, I'd stand there with the towels, paper towels, so I could dry their hands, man. Anything. I mean, that sounds corny, but I'm saying anything that would help them. I just wanted to be on the radar. So I chose to plug in. And I think so many times people, they want to be free. They say, I'm going to do this. I'm going to get rich and free. And then you tell them there's a Zoom call on Wednesday and they're off shopping for avocados. And I'm going like, what? I never missed. Because I wanted my dream. See, I was serious about what I was saying, the power of my words.
Yeah.
I wanted it, and I was going to do it. And I think so many times they don't pay the price. They don't even understand that it's such a simple price.
Yeah.
You increase by association. And they choose to continue associating with the people that have them where they are, which is not where they want to be. And all we got to do is associate, and our belief goes up. Faith comes by hearing. Start associating. Start believing. And that's why I'm so happy right now. I'm so grateful Connie came into my life. You make a lot of money, and you do kind of slow down and just kind of, you think, hey, I can kind of retire and golf and, you know. I think it's more fun. But my son came to me one day, and Connie also. So I kind of had both around the same time. But he came to me and he said, Dad, I want to talk to you real serious. It's my oldest child. I only have one son. And he said, it's real serious. Well, I talk to him anytime, but when he says it's serious, I go, what's up? And so I stopped right there and said, okay, right now. And he says, I just really want to thank you for the way you raised me. I'm thinking, this is serious? I mean, okay, thank you for the compliment. He goes, no, seriously, Dad, I love the way you raised me. You would fly all over the world. You'd take me with you. You were helping thousands of families get financially free. You helped thousands of people live their dream. I loved being raised. I loved you being my dad. He says, but now I'm married, and you're not doing it, and I get to raise my children with a job. He looks at me and says, Dad, that's not fair. He says, I want you to get back in the game and help me live free. I want to raise my kids the way you raised me. And it's not going to happen if I just home to work, work to home to work, work to home with a job. And so I'm getting it from a couple different angles. I meet Connie, and she's caught the vision. She goes, man, we could build all over the world. We'll help people. See, it's all about blessing their life. It's not what they can do for us. That'll come. Didn't Zig Ziglar say it years ago? Help enough other people get what they want, you'll always get what you want.
Absolutely.
That's a line like that everybody knows. But it's true. Like saying the line that everybody knows too. They don't care how much you know till they know how much you care. All these little lines that have been around for 100 years.
Yeah.
But they're true. And Connie said, let's make an impact. Let's impact this world. So we got serious and having the time of our life. So I don't even know if I'm answering your question. I'm just getting excited, you know. But you're saying what makes me go.
Yeah.
I'm trying to tell you what makes me go.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you can't just keep working this way. I never saw it as work anyway. So when you say work, it's work to love somebody. It's work to give hope. There's nothing like when hope comes into somebody's eyes and you see their eyes light up. Now, I love that. So I don't see that as work.
Right.
Is it work right now? Me and you sharing? No, I love this. But I'm saying that it takes a focus.
Right.
And it's just more than the money.
For sure.
It's more than the money. You don't keep this pace if you just need more money. I mean, it's not going to change the car I drove up here in.
Right.
You know, we're here. But I love I love watching people's lives change. I love seeing how they start treating their children different.
Right.
I love how seeing a man start treating his wife like a princess.
For sure.
Because he starts associating with men who treat their wives like princesses.
And Connie, what did you do to see success in network marketing? Were you just following his lead? Was there anything else that you added while you guys were together and building the businesses?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, this is a divine connection, if you will, or marriage, union, because my love language is acts of service and gifts. I thrive off of helping people be better. Like, that fuels my soul. My first job, and I realized this then, my first job, I was a telemarketer out of high school, and I hated it. But I was actually good, but I couldn't stand it, but no one else would hire me. And my boss asked me, he was like, you're doing so well.
You were only 16, though, when you graduated from high school.
Well, sure. But still, McDonald's didn't even call.
Wow.
So he asked me, he said, you're doing really good. Can you help the new people when they come in? So I start training the new reps, and I start giving them tips. And it just ignited me. And then when I start seeing them and role playing with them and them getting better, I realized that was my niche. Like, helping people go to the next level, helping people to tap into their greatness. That's what I do naturally with my friends. I feel like I'm the biggest encourager because that makes my heart smile, to make somebody else feel good. Mm-hmm. And so with me having those skills already naturally innate in me, network marketing is nothing, it's the right place for me to be. It's not like, oh, do I have to think about it? I'm going to help people. I'm going to help people to have only positive expectations. I'm going to help people, like Lennon said, to be able to create generations of wealth. I'm going to help people to leave the next generation better than how they lived. That's exciting. That's something we do all the time anyway, right? With our friends, if we have a mindset of increasing by association, if we have a mindset that mediocrity is the enemy of greatness, then we're constantly feeding into people life instead of death. So in network marketing, I saw this as a way for me to be on a world stage, giving people hope and helping people to be better.
Mm-hmm. What's funny is that sometimes we use the word network marketing. Sometimes I try not to. I try to say I build teams, help people live their dreams or something. Because it's funny, words are powerful. Yes. But it's like if somebody says the word network marketing to me or my children or my parents,
something already pops up.
Or my brother, because my brother was an attorney for 8 years and then able to be full time for the last 30 or something, 20, and my dad a professor and duplicating his income in 7 months and be free and where's just so if I hear it, my brain sees auditoriums full of people, arenas full of people, soccer stadiums full of people, basketball arenas full of people.
When I heard it before I met him, it was put your stand next to the Girl Scouts in front of a grocery store and sell a product for $29.95. No, thank you.
So, but what I'm saying is somebody else, they hear network marketing, they know their aunt quit.
Yeah.
And did it for 3 weeks and never got on a Zoom call. It's always funny to me. There's a price paid for success in academics, music, athletics. Why not financial freedom? But they invite 2 friends and do lousy. My dad, he said he talked to 21 people and nobody got in, and then his 22nd and 23rd both became millionaires. And you go, yeah, it's just numbers, and he finally hit the right people. He goes, no. He says, my first 21, my first 5 or 6 were lousy presentations. Would I have joined that? But by the time, then he went back and got 5 or 6 of them in, because he said by the time I'd done it, and I was better at what to say, because I'd practiced. In other words, I just think that I see auditoriums full of people, lives being changed. Somebody else says, oh, my aunt. But don't let anybody steal your dream. If you're listening to this, I don't care what you do, don't ever let anybody steal your dream. Right. My dad, when my dad was walking on campus, because he had 2 PhDs, university professor, still paycheck to paycheck, second mortgage on a little house. I mean, you get what I mean? We weren't poor, but we sure weren't nothing extra. And so what happened was he was walking along campus. And another university professor came by and says, "Hey, Curtis, my friend." He says, "Hey, Curtis, I hear you got into that thing." It's always funny. They call it that thing. He says, I hear you got into that thing. And he said, "Yes, I did." Now, remember, my dad was 48 years old. He'd already been trying. He was told to get a good education, get a good job. He'd tried that route. And my mom still had to work teaching second grade to make ends meet. You understand? So he goes, "Yeah, I got in." And he says, well, I recommend you get out. You'll just get all excited. They'll get all your money. I'm thinking, he thought, get all my money? I don't have any money. And what have I invested in? I mean, I put up a couple $100. I mean, how am I going to lose what is a date night? You know what I'm saying? And so I never understood that when people say, especially when they have 100% money back guarantee. I mean, I just don't get that where people say, "Oh, you lose a whole bunch of money," when we didn't even get any money to get started, But this is a crazy story. We'll say his name was Jim. And he said, "Yeah, Curtis, I know about these things, and I'm just trying to be your friend. I'm your friend." Kept saying, "I'm your friend, so get out before you get started. Just get out." And see, my dad, I want to say this, he wasn't a solid oak yet. He was a little small, fragile branch. Many people, I mean, the destiny of thousands. My dad's doing this for 5 decades. 5 decades. So do we know this works?
Yes, he did.
5 decades. So does this business work? Does it have stay power? Oh, you darn right. But anyway, this is a funny story. I love it because my dad had some posh. I love my dad, man. What a stud. I don't know if that's the right word to say on a podcast, but what an amazing human being that I
no stud is
that
fine.
He's my man. But he said, "Yeah, just get out." And my dad did ask the question. He says, "Well, Jim, how do you know that this doesn't work?" And Jim, seriously, another PhD professor with a PhD professor. He was our neighbor, lived 3 houses away. He said, "Well, because I had an aunt in southern Utah, and she didn't do anything with it." And my dad said, "You mean you're telling me because your aunt in southern Utah didn't do anything with it, it won't work for me, Curtis Ledbetter?" Yeah, I'm just being your friend, telling you it didn't work for her, so probably won't work for you. And my dad started to walk away. He said, "Well, thank you, Jim." And he started to walk away. And about 15 steps, he turned and said, "Hey, Jim, one thing before you go." Jim turned around and said, "What's that, Curtis?" And he said, "I'm not your aunt. I'm not your aunt. I'm not your aunt." See, I don't know if that aunt ever plugged in and went to events or learned skills or became a pro. See, who makes the most money in football?
The professionals.
The ones that are good. Who makes the most money in real estate? The ones that are good.
Yeah.
Well, who makes the most money in anything? The ones that are good. Well, then why doesn't it make sense? Who makes the most money in network marketing? The ones that are good.
Yeah.
And everything can be learned, so let's get good. So anyway, but the point is I get excited about that because I'm not your aunt. I'm not your aunt. Because, see, it doesn't matter what somebody else does or doesn't do. What matters is, do you have a dream and you got courage where others fear? Can you have courage where others fear? Courage. That's what I love in people. I was so frustrated as a kid. I laid in bed talking to God, man, because I was taught it takes money to make money. They told me that all the time. It takes money to make money. It takes money to make money. I just get mad at God and say, then I'm up a creek. Because if it takes money to make money, I'm never going to have any money because I don't have any money. So if I don't have any money, I'm never going to have any money. And so it means I'm screwed. How come that guy gets to have the blessing? Do you love that kid more than me? Why do you love those guys more than you love me? That was little kid thinking, right? Then it dawned on me. It doesn't take money to make money, especially in network marketing. It takes courage to make money because it costs nothing to open my mouth.
Right.
But I never get in trouble when I go at Christmas time, give gifts to my neighbors, give little presents and say, thanks for watching my house, I'm out of town, or give them presents. Mm-hmm. And yet, somehow, I don't know, I've never had anybody pull a knife on me and say, you're offering me a present? or gun. Yet I guess they think so. I go, I'm offering somebody a present. I'm giving them a gift. I'm offering them to leverage me. It's like I say, I'm going to give you something that you don't have in your life. What? Me and Connie. We will help you for free. What other people can? Anyway, I just get excited about the idea that it's really all it is love. We're sharing an idea that can bless their life if they're willing. That's the only thing people say. How come you made it? I was willing.
That's all.
Yeah. Now I have a question about, you guys spoke about impacting the world. Mm-hmm. And you guys are getting ready to impact the financial world pretty significantly. Mm-hmm. Tell us what you can about the new business that you guys have going on with the debit card and the rewards points. Tell us whatever you can about the business and about the new card and how it's going to change the financial realm.
Well, the exciting part about it is that, again, we talked about network marketing, and everybody shuns that word. We don't have to worry about that word in this sense, right? And the other part about this is that when we're in network marketing, you have to share, most of the time, a product. You have to share and explain to them and train them on why this is better than this.
Right.
Well, in this aspect, this is really exciting and revolutionary because we don't have to train people or teach them how to spend money. We don't have to train people or teach them how to swipe a card, tap a card, enter the 16 digits in their, streaming account membership services, etc. We don't have to do all that.
They already
all
know.
we have to do, like Lennon said, have courage where there's fear, open our mouths and say, look, you know what? You're already spending money. Would you like to double your buying power? Would you like to make money and earn rewards off of what you're doing anyway? Don't change anything you're doing. Just if you're going to go through a drive-through, go through the drive-through. If you're going to go at home and watch a streaming service all night, do that. But when you're spending money, use this card instead of that card and stretch your dollar. Because now, since we're in this economy and the temperature of the economy is saying we're in a recession, everybody needs to stretch their dollar, right? And when do you ever have another opportunity where a 7-year-old who has a prepaid debit card that their parents send them along with him to Disneyland versus an 85-year-old grandmother who's going to go to the grocery store and buy a few things? What other than this opportunity will help everybody win? Because we're all spending money, we're all swiping, tapping, and entering 16 digits at some point. You think about it with the industry, with the swipes, over $2 trillion last year in swipes. Now, can we get a piece of that? Yes, sir, we can, and that's what we're doing.
I want to know, what do you think and how it's going to change how people spend going forward?
I like being a disruptor. I've always wanted to be a disruptor. And disrupt, meaning in a good way, but disrupt. Like, let's say years ago, you were the best saddle maker on the planet. I mean, everybody in your city knew you could make saddles like nobody else. I mean, you could carve in them. Yours were fancy. You were the best saddle maker in the world. And then Henry Ford came along and changed the way Americans lived. You see, same with the personal computer. I remember putting quarters in. You'd go to the airport and there'd be 30 phones in a row, and you'd stand in line 2 or 3 deep to get your turn. And now people just have cell phones. You see, Amazon changed the way people shopped. There's been some disruptors.
Right.
Well, you go to any major city and you see the big, tall buildings, they got bank names on them. There's never before where we've allowed people, common people like you and me, to play in the transaction game. Mm-hmm. See, they get it all. Every time anybody buys anything anywhere, there's a transaction fee.
Right.
Well, so I want to play in that game. I want the common guy. I want to be able to share with my friends, and they can share with their friends, and they can share with their friends. Because remember, I said earlier, it's not just who you know, who they know, and who they know, and who they know. And I just want them to be able to make anytime anybody ever fills up their gas tank, anytime they pay their Netflix bill. You can't go to the gym. You have a card on file for your membership.
Right.
You know, you got to put your car insurance or whatever. I mean, we're paying our electric bill, our gas bill. Some people are paying car payments or rent payments. People are going to the grocery store. People are getting a haircut.
They're just living.
They're living. Well, my gosh, that's why I love it. I don't have to convince them to any particular product.
Right.
They're swiping already anyway. So we just show how they can earn on everybody else's normal life. That's never been done before. That's why I say we're disrupting the way America does business. I get excited.
What made you, what created, or how did you think that the average person can get involved in the transaction game? What sparked that idea? Like, I'm going to help people get into the transaction game, because people don't even realize that every time that you swipe, that somebody is getting paid for it.
Absolutely.
A lot of times, okay, so my whole life has been about how do you help the other guy? How do you help them be free? See, somebody's got to believe in them. Because by the grace of God, some people believed in me. They've passed on now, but they believed in me, and they gave me their time for free and taught me how to think and grow rich. And so I'm very grateful. So I'm continuing to carry the torch and to keep living and helping. But when you say what caused it, it was always about, that's what started the whole kind of idea of network marketing, is how do you help people make money? Because if you go to school, it's called barrier of entry. That's what stops most people. Yeah. They go, the barrier of entry. I have a dream, but I don't have the money to start. That was the power of networking. Just, you can get started. That's one of the greatest blessings of network marketing, is we let anybody in. Probably one of the biggest curses. We let anybody in.
Right.
You can't even work for an airlines as a flight attendant, or I can give it 25 different examples. But where you get a whole bunch of applications.
Training.
And then they pick you.
Requirements.
Yep.
Exactly. Before they let you start. The bank tellers, anything. And so they train you before they let you represent them.
Yeah.
And network marketing is, oh, you're in. Oh, good. And then they haven't been on a Zoom call or anything.
Yeah.
Right.
And so, but I think that over the years, it's been in my brain, because generally you're excited about a particular product, and you're constantly trying to get people excited about why your product is powerful, or you're excited about your compensation plan, or, we're trying to kind of why we're different than somebody else and why you should join us. And then there's been some companies, I can mention names, but where all of a sudden they deregulate electricity, and all of a sudden they start a networking company where all you do is you don't even have a product now. You don't have a product. You just switch your electric bill, or you don't even have a product. Just switch your phone bill. And they grew because there were people that were excited about a service type thing. Yeah. There's been travel ones and others. There's still the ones that are doing product, like My Laundry Soap, or you know what I mean? It's like, so there's different ways, but that was always intriguing to me, because it showed people can get excited and that other ideas can work. And I said, well, if they can go to $1 billion or whatever with electric people, just electric bills or phone bills or something, I said, what if we could go, well, what's something that every single person, if they're alive, they're living, I want to make money on their electric bill and their phone bill and everything. Visa. Why not have a debit card? Partner with the banks.
Is the card available now?
Yes, it is. Actually, you can go to the website. If someone refers you to it, then you can actually receive it then.
You can actually receive it
Yes.
then. Anything that I can offer anyone in the audience to get started with it today? Can we drop a link? Anything like that?
Absolutely.
Sure. Yes, we sure can.
We'll definitely
And then
drop the
they'll be
link.
able to get the information.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
And it's just like setting up a regular bank account.
Absolutely.
It's like setting up a
Yes,
regular.
it's all digital. If we think about it, we think about during COVID when we would go to the stores and buy stuff and you see signs saying we're not accepting cash.
Yeah.
Most people thought it was because of the pandemic. Well, what happened? We're out of the pandemic slightly, and we're still moving cash around. We're still touching cash. No, that was just a subliminal message leading up to where we will be. Because within the next 5 to 10 years, no one's going to actually have cash in hand. It's going to be all digital banking. So with that, that's why we're leading the charge, but it is a digital platform. So you'll be able to get your checking account attached to your Visa debit card online.
Okay. And
Yes.
you guys don't have any social media yet, do you?
No.
We got to get you guys set up
Yes,
with
we
that.
do.
We're just
We
getting
do.
going on this one. Yeah, we
Yeah.
still got other things going that are really, really powerful.
Yeah, we
like
got to get you guys
Japan
set up
and Mexico
for that.
and other places.
So we're going to get something for them set up probably by the time this episode drops. So their information should be down below. Is there anything else that you guys want to plug before we wrap up?
Well, you know what? I just want to say this is that, if you have a dream, you can live it. We have to remember that a dream is just a mere thought asking for permission to live. And we often let them die by the associations, by our daily lives, by just because you're working from 9 to 5 or, working 12-hour days, you forget what was burning inside of you at one point. And I want to encourage them to let them know that let that fire go again. Let it burn again because it's there for a reason to be a blessing and an inspiration to someone else. So yes, you can if you believe in yourself.
Absolutely. And you, Lennon?
And I didn't know exactly what I was allowed to say when you said, how do you contact? Definitely, if you're excited,
Yeah.
you guys, you can find us, man. Call us. I mean, check
Okay.
me out. Get Facebook. Get whatever. You'll find us.
How can we get in contact with you guys specifically?
Well, we'll when we get this, we'll put some links. Remember, you said we could put some links in so they
Yes.
can go to it.
For
so
sure.
Definitely, I don't know how
I'll
much
drop
you
all
want
that
me
stuff.
to say. I mean,
It doesn't matter. Whatever you want to plug. It's no big deal. Yeah, whatever
We
you
weren't
want to.
sure what we were supposed to say or what we're not.
Oh, yeah,
'cause
whatever
we're
you
just
guys
trying
want to
be
plug.
general, teach some general good principles that can
Yes.
bless people's lives. But yes, if somebody truly is interested in working with us, oh my gosh, we would be honored to talk to you.
Yeah, you
meet
guys came onto the show. Feel free. My audience, they're all looking for different kind of businesses to get in. I've had people that do Turo cars, private equity. They're very interested in getting into different businesses. So however you guys want to go or however you guys want to contact them, I'll have all their stuff down below. But yeah, feel free to drop whatever it is that you want to or mention whatever you want to mention, guys.
Okay.
I love it. Well, definitely you can find us. We give you, all we got to do is reach out to our email or our
We'll put
link,
that
but
too.
also Facebook, Connie, me. We'll answer messages.
Oh, so you guys have Facebook?
Yeah,
Yes,
for
we have
sure.
Facebook and Instagram.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, cool. All right, so we'll drop those, guys.
Yes.
And that's going to be it for this episode. I really do appreciate you guys coming on, and I will see you guys on the next episode. Peace.